Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to go over velocity banking. And what is one of the main tenets or emphasis on velocity banking is that we're actually going to do the exact opposite what mainstream personal finance teaches us. So if you don't know who the biggest personal finance guru is in the United States, it's Dave Ramsey, and he has something called the 7 baby steps. And he says step one is save $1,000 in a beginner emergency fund. So you notice that he's using the word beginner because when you save $1,000, it automatically puts you in the newbie category. So we're gonna take it up a notch. We're gonna crank it up a notch and see what we can do when we actually skip step one and don't save any money. That's essentially what velocity banking is, right? So all the other steps are good, paying off debt, except for step three. I don't know if I do these ones, but I definitely would not do step five, right? So I think most of these steps are good, but definitely would just not do step one, right? And if you want to know where most of the country is, they think it's actually amazing to pay off $10,000 of credit card in 6 months, like credit card debt. Because if you take a look here, this has over 395,000 views, right? 395,000 views. People are amazed. $10,000 of credit card debt in 6 months. OMG, right? And we're gonna figure out how to do that with velocity banking. So what is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy using a line of credit as your main operating account. So in today's video, we're not going to save money. In fact, let's actually do this before we get started. I'll say this. Why, I'm going to ask ChatGPT, why do velocity bankers tell you not to save money? Ooh, I think I'm going to like this explanation.
Velocity banking emphasizes using your income and available cash flow to accelerate debt repayment rather than saving money in a traditional savings account. This strategy stems from the idea that 1. Debt interest costs more. The interest on loans, especially on high interest debts like credit cards, often outweighs the interest earned in a savings account. By prioritizing debt repayment, you can save money on interest over time. 2. Savings are idle. Traditional savings typically yield low returns compared to the cost of borrowing. Velocity bankers argue that it's more efficient to use that money to reduce loan balances, which effectively gives you a return equal to the interest rate of the debt you're paying off. Number 3, opportunity costs. Every dollar sitting in a savings account is a dollar that could be reducing debt, freeing up future cash flow. 4. Leveraging HELOC or credit lines. Instead of keeping money in savings, velocity banking uses tools like a HELOC to act as both a debt repayment tool and a financial cushion. Funds can be accessed for emergencies, but are otherwise reducing principal. Exceptions to the rule. While velocity banking discourages large, stagnant savings, it often advises keeping a small emergency fund to handle unforeseen expenses. This ensures you don't rely entirely on credit for emergencies. Do you find this aligns with your approach to finances?
I agree with pretty much everything except for keeping a small emergency fund because me personally, I don't have anything in my savings. Why? My line of credit is my new emergency fund. I'll just say this. I don't need savings because my line of credit is my emergency fund. Let's see what GPT says. Right. Oh, I'm not going to read all of this again. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but yes, let's go ahead and do this. So let's get out of here. Again, your line of credit is going to be your emergency. So think about this. I mean, what if you had $8,611.68 of income, $8,611.67 of savings, and then 1 penny left over? First of all, let's ask the question, how are we going to save $1,000? Can someone tell me how we're going to save $1,000 when we're in this situation right here with the penny left? Can't do it. Impossible, right? So what we're going to do is figure out, even with the same income, right, how we can pay off this debt without making more money. Whoopsie. Let me go ahead and do that. Copy and paste. And the thing that we're going to emphasize here, okay, is that instead of having savings and going increasing our savings, we're going to actually make sure that it's going to go to zero during the entirety of our debt payoff strategy, right? When we're paying off debt, this savings account is always going to go to zero. And we're going to have something called cash flow, which looks like savings in the very beginning. So if we take a look at my savings account statement right here, okay, let's take a look here. You see that I start with zero, beginning balance is zero, and ending balance is zero, meaning that I have no money saved. Okay. And the second thing that we have to do is get a line of credit as our main operating account. So what's a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where it could borrow money, pay it back, and use it over and over again. So first thing we need is a budget. Budget is your debt attack plan. Second thing is a line of credit. And so let's just assume that we have a free and clear empty home equity line of credit, right? So a home equity line of credit is just almost like a credit card based on the value of your home, right? I got a first lien home equity line of credit for $280,000. This is it. This is like a screenshot from my cell phone. $280,000. I borrowed 12 grand and I'm using it as what I call my main operating account. Now I know there are some of you out there who are like, who's going to give you a line of credit? And again, I don't know if I want to go into a whole spiel again, but you have to know how the credit system works, okay? And that's why I have over $527,000 in lines of credit, over 527. Like this isn't an accident. It's because I'm intentional. I understand what banks want, and if you give people what they want, they will give you what they want. And that's like a fundamental principle. I feel like that's been lost in today's society, right? You give me what I want, I'll give you what you want. That's how over $527,000 lines of credit. But realistically, no one's going to give you a free, clear line of credit, especially if you're in this desperate situation, because banks don't like working with desperate people. Desperate people, they found over the years, many, many hundreds of years, is that they don't pay back their loans, which is kind of sad, right? So, all right. So this is what we're going to do. What we're going to do is shuffle some debt, and we have 8 credit cards here, an auto loan, a mortgage, and that's $137,000 of credit card debt. So 137,000, and then as you can see here, when we move that credit card debt 0,000,000,000, the payments actually go away. So folks, we literally turn a penny into $4,450 in one swoop just by moving our debt into our line of credit, especially the high interest rate credit cards. And so what we're going to do now is start with a paycheck, our entire $8,600 paycheck, and put it into the line of credit. And then we take our expenses out, and then we rinse and repeat over and over again. Paycheck in, expenses out. Paycheck in, expenses out. And this cash flow number is going to be the number that how much the debt will be that we have will be reduced in our line of credit after every single month. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do this. I2 plus 1. Next month's balance is G2 plus H2, so that means previous month's balance plus previous month's interest minus whatever our cash flow number is, which is 4450.84. And then what we do is we take the average daily balance. So let's go ahead and do that average daily balance. That's how interest is calculated, and then we multiply it by the interest rate, which is 0.08, and then divide by 12. Divide by 12. And then what we do is now we rinse and repeat the process and do it over and over and over again, like the Energizer Bunny. So let's see how long it takes us to pay off all of this good stuff off. Sweet. So about 35 months, right? So 35 months to pay off $137,000 of credit card debt. So 130 no. So 35 months, 135 credit card debt. Take a look at that. Look how easy that was. And if we had to save $1,000, like Dave Ramsey says in baby step number 1, how long do you think it will take? They save $1,000 in beginner emergency fund, right? I'm not gonna get there anytime soon, and if I have like an emergency that's over my budget, that's gonna ruin me, right? All right, so now, people freak out about credit card debt. Like, I'm freaking out. It's like, all right, well, okay, that's cool. But we just took care of it, and we did it less than 3 years, and it's simple, right? So next one is we got to take care of the auto loan, 20,000 at 7% interest, and let's see what the balance of that auto loan is. And we got this loan calculator shows the balance of the auto loan. Where is it? Yeah, it's right here. So all we got to do is put in the current month, which is 35, and it tells us the latest balance, right? And so we can see right here, latest balance is 9 grand. And what I'm going to do is move the 9 grand into that line of credit. So let's move that 9 grand there. All right. And then I'm going to do this. And then this is going to be plus 9187.66. Okay. So we moved that, what's it called? Auto loan into the line of credit, and we get an extra $396 back into our cash flow. And now our cash flow is, let me just make sure I did this right. Okay. So now our cash flow is 4,846 and 87 cents. Okay. So let me just do this. And whoopsie. So this is now, my Excel is going crazy. 4846.87, right? Okay. And you see how easy that is? Whoa, we paid it off in 2 months. That's pretty insane. Okay. All right. So now we pay, so that's 37 months. 37 months. It's 155K. That's pretty good, bro. All right. So now let's go ahead in 37 months to see how long it takes us to pay off this 3% mortgage. And if you take a look here, okay, so we paid off about $20,000 of the mortgage. So let me just do this. Okay, so we paid off 20K in principal in 37 months. Do you see where I got the 20K? Basically, it's this original balance minus latest balance. But let's move 20K into the line of credit. And so let me just move 20K here of the mortgage principal into the line of credit. So I'm just going to plus 20,000. Now the cash flow doesn't change because it's what's it called? The loan hasn't been paid off, right? We're just splitting into little chunks, and you see that if we do it this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, we pay it off in 4 months at 20 grand. Whereas we take a look here, this took us so when we do velocity banking with our line of credit on the principal of the mortgage, the principal only takes us about 4 or 5 months, right? So we'll just say 4 months. And so this is velocity banking. So what are you going to do? Pay 20K in 37 or 20 in 4, right? And then 37 divided by 4 is 9. So you could have literally paid $180,000 of principal in about 3 years. 180. Isn't that crazy? So what we're going to do is just going to apply this strategy and just do it over and over again, right? And then we can just kind of, it doesn't have to be $20,000. I always say a amount similar to your paycheck, like 10 or 8 grand, that should be sufficient. It's not going to be a big difference between 8 grand and 10 grand, but what's most important is this cash flow number here. So as long as this is big, it's okay to use a huge, an 8% home equity line of credit to attack a 3% mortgage, right? So I probably need to make another video going on the nuances of that because I think most people don't understand this because a lot of people, excuse me, on the internet have been promoting first lien HELOCs, and in my time just doing these demonstrations, I've never seen a case where like doing a first lien HELOC actually benefited the person, except when you have the mortgage paid off like me. So if you take a look here, I have a first lien HELOC, and this is because my home is completely paid off. Isn't that cool? Completely paid off. So, so again, I would only have a first lien HELOC when the mortgage is paid off, and the reason why we pay off the mortgage last is because paying it off actually gives us very little cash flow. right? So you see this is $1,200. In order for us to get the $1,200 back, we have to pay off this. We have to pay off $300,000. Whereas we take a look here, this 30,000 and this 27,000, that's $1,800 of cash flow. We get more cash flow, okay, $1,800 of cash flow for a much smaller balance, and that's why we pay off the credit cards first, the mortgages last, and we don't put the mortgage in the line of credit. That's a big no-no. Okay, so let me go ahead and open up the Velocity Banking Calculator. Okay, so here's the Velocity Banking Calculator that I always love to use, where it's just plug and play, provided by Renatus. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Renatus. Just this is where I just learned velocity banking from, and I actually sell their education online, which is how I make some commission. But I'm gonna kind of crank up the advertising for this so I can make a little bit more commission once I am stop being lazy. Okay, so all right, so let me just show you here. So this is the amount that goes into the line of credit, and you know what's funny? There should be an auto amount, but I can't figure it out because you see here I put 9,700 goes to the line of credit. Okay, now the interest is 18 grand 790, but what if I do a lower amount, 8,700? Look how this increases just a little tiny bit by like about $60, right? So it's kind of weird how there's probably some sweet spot, but I can't figure it out. But I think just just play around with it. But I think amount similar to your check should be good enough, right? The last thing you want to do is replace your entire mortgage with the first lien HELOC, because you can see here you pay 56 grand in interest. When you do it the other way, small chunks, you only pay 18 grand in interest. Okay, so let's go ahead and record this 4.1 years. Isn't that crazy, paying off a mortgage in 4.1 years? That is insane, even though I paid mine off under 3. All right, so now it's 41. Divide by 12. No, actually, 4.1. 4.1 plus 37 divided by 12. And so that is 7.18 years debt free. And what's the debt? 155 plus 300, that's 455K. We good. We good, right? So celebrate good times. Come on. But yeah, see how easy that was? Like, I just do this all day. It's like Captain America. You can do this all day, man. It's so easy. I can just do this all day. All right. So you can see here that saving money ain't going to get you anywhere, right? Because during our time paying off the debt, and after our final debt is paid off, this goes to zero. Now we're going to actually save money because we paid off all our debt, and now because our debt is paid off, we're just kind of oodles and oodles of savings. And then we're going to get to a point where it's like holy balls, like, or holy baloney, or holy kapow, or holy Jiminy Jillikers. Um, this is just going to be like, whoa, we have so much in our savings. And then you get the rich problems person's itch, which is, I just got to invest it, because anytime you have idle savings, it's always, and I know a lot of people will never experience this, but it always feels like a burden once you have like a ton of savings, because it's just capital that's not being deployed. So you want to be smart and deploy the capital, right? All right. Well, that's it for today. So this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Have a great day, everybody, and we will speak next time.